Welcome to the Ultimate Balance Test for Seniors. Today we are going to look at the 7 levels of balance after age 65. You might think you know exactly how steady you are on your feet, but this detailed physical test will reveal the absolute truth about your body. We will count down from level 1, the perfect anchor, all the way down to level 7, the fear paralysis. And the level that catches most people off guard is actually level 4, not level 7. I will explain exactly why level 4 is the most dangerous stage of all at the end of this video. Which stage are you in right now? Let us find out. Balance is not just about the inner ear. It is a highly complex biological system that relies on 3 things working in perfect harmony. Your eyes scanning the environment, your brain processing the space, and the tiny stabilizer muscles in your legs reacting instantly. When we are young, these 3 systems communicate in a fraction of a millisecond. But as we age, the signals start to slow down. The muscles in your ankles and hips get weaker and less responsive. The connection begins to fade without us even noticing it happening. Here is a frightening medical statistic. 1 in every 4 people over the age of 65 will fall this year. And the most dangerous part is that almost all of them believed they had good balance the day before it happened. That is because balance loss does not happen overnight. It happens in very specific, predictable stages. It slowly chips away at your confidence, your mobility, and eventually your independence. By understanding exactly which level you are at today, you can take the right steps to reverse the decline before a life-changing fall happens. I'm going to reveal the 7 levels right now, from the strongest to the most risky. I want you to listen carefully to the physical signs and daily habits of each stage. Count your points and be brutally honest with yourself. Discover exactly where your body is today. We begin with level 1, the perfect anchor. This is the absolute gold standard of balance after the age of 65. If you are at this level, your brain and your muscles are communicating perfectly. You can stand on one bare foot for at least 10 seconds without swaying heavily or dropping your arms. But the real test of level 1 happens in your bedroom every single morning. You can stand in the middle of the room and put your pants on, lifting one leg at a time, without needing to hold onto the wall or sit on the edge of the bed. You can look straight up at the ceiling or close your eyes in the shower to wash your hair without feeling like the room is spinning or drifting. Your ankle stabilizers are incredibly strong and reactive. You walk with a confident, upright stride. Your feet lift completely off the ground with every step, and you do not constantly look down at the floor to see where you are stepping. If this describes you, congratulations. You have an excellent physical foundation. But pay close attention, because the next level is where the very first tiny cracks begin to show. Level 2 is what we call the first wobble. At this stage, you still feel generally confident and independent, but your body is sending you subtle warning signs that the neurological connection is getting weaker. You might notice this when you're putting on your shoes or your socks. You can no longer do it standing freely in the middle of the room. You find that you need just a tiny point of contact, maybe just one finger touching the wall or resting your hand lightly on a dresser just to feel grounded. You do not need the wall to support your physical weight. You just need it to tell your brain where your body is in space. Another classic sign of level 2 is when you turn your head quickly to look over your shoulder, perhaps when someone calls your name in the store, and you feel a brief split second of dizziness or instability. Your walking stride gets just a little bit shorter than it used to be. Most seniors completely ignore level 2, brushing it off and thinking it is just the normal part of getting older. But the transition to the next level is where the real physical danger begins to build. Welcome to level 3. The stair hesitation. This is the stage where your loss of balance begins to actively change how you move through the world and make decisions. The biggest indicator of level 3 happens on the staircase. You no longer use the handrail just as a casual safety precaution. You actually use it to pull your body weight up or brace yourself on the way down. You might start placing both feet on the same step before moving to the next one, rather than alternating your feet smoothly like you used to. Your brain knows that your single-leg balance is compromised, so it naturally forces you to slow down and protect yourself. You also start to struggle with reaching tasks. If you need to grab a heavy can from the top shelf in your kitchen, you might feel yourself rocking back on your heels, feeling deeply unstable as you stretch your arms up. You are still fully independent. You still go out and live your active life. But the fear of falling has quietly moved into the back of your mind. But the next level is where most people get stuck, and it is the most deceptive and dangerous stage of them all. We have reached level 4, the furniture cruiser. This is the major turning point in your aging journey. If you are at level 4, your home environment has completely shaped how you walk. Without even realizing you are doing it, you navigate your living room by gently touching the back of the sofa, then sliding your hand to the edge of the dining table, then holding the door frame. You are cruising from one piece of furniture to the next, like a ship moving between safe harbors. You feel completely safe because you never actually fall when you are inside your house. But this is a massive illusion. Because you are constantly using your hands and arms for balance, the stabilizing muscles in your legs are actually shutting down from a severe lack of use. You are outsourcing your balance to your wooden furniture. When you go out in public where there are no tables to hold on to, you suddenly feel incredibly vulnerable and exposed. You might begin to avoid crowded shopping malls or narrow restaurant aisles because the lack of physical support makes you deeply anxious. The gap between how safe you feel at home and how weak your legs actually are is growing rapidly every single day. And this leads us directly into the terrifying reality of the next stage. Level 5 is the uneven ground trap. At this stage, your internal balance system is severely compromised, and your vision has taken over completely. Because your leg muscles and joints can no longer feel the ground properly, you must look down at your feet constantly while you're walking. Walking on a perfectly flat, brightly lit floor at the grocery store might still be manageable. But the exact moment you encounter uneven terrain, everything changes entirely. A slightly cracked concrete sidewalk, a gravel driveway, or walking on soft grass or sand at the park becomes a paralyzing challenge. Your ankles simply do not have the strength or the reaction time to adjust to the micro changes in the surface. If you step on a small pebble or a crack, your whole body jolts in panic. You might drag your feet slightly, creating a subtle shuffling sound when you walk. You find yourself holding onto your spouse or your friend very tightly when walking outdoors. The outside world has become an exhausting obstacle course, and your independence is actively shrinking because you choose to stay home to avoid the places that make you feel unsteady. Level 6 is the constant support stage. At this advanced level, unassisted walking is no longer a safe option for you. Your brain and your leg muscles have largely stopped communicating effectively. To move around your own home or go outside, you must rely actively on a walking cane, a rolling walker, or the constant physical support of another person's arm. Your steps are very wide apart as your body desperately tries to create a larger base of support, and your knees stay slightly bent at all times. When you try to stand up from a deep chair or the toilet, it takes immense physical effort, and you must establish a firm grip on your walker before you even attempt to take a single step forward. The fear of falling is no longer just a quiet thought in the back of your mind. It dictates every single physical movement you make throughout the day. You are highly vulnerable to catastrophic falls, even with your walking aid, because if you lose your grip or the walker slips, your body has absolutely zero natural reflex to catch itself before hitting the ground. But there is still one level lower, and it is the most heartbreaking of them all. Finally, we reach level 7, the fear paralysis. This is the absolute lowest level of the balance hierarchy. At this tragic stage, it is not just extreme physical weakness that keeps you grounded. It is intense psychological terror. You have likely experienced a severe, painful fall already that required a hospital visit. Now, even with a sturdy walker or someone physically helping you, you actively resist standing up at all. You spend the vast majority of your day sitting in a recliner or lying in bed. When you do try to stand, your body locks up in a rigid, shaking panic. Your muscles become incredibly stiff with fear, which ironically makes you even more likely to lose your balance and fall again. You have completely lost faith in your body's ability to hold you upright against gravity. Level 7 represents the total loss of physical independence. It is a very dark and lonely place to be, but I want you to listen to me carefully. Even at this stage, with the right professional medical help and very slow, guided movements, neurological improvement is still biologically possible. Your body has not given up entirely. So, which level are you currently at? I want you to be totally honest with yourself about what you have heard today. Recognizing your true level is the very first step to fixing it. Now, I promise to tell you why level 4, the furniture cruiser, is actually the most dangerous stage of all, even more dangerous than level 7. Here is exactly why. When you are at level 6 or level 7, you know you have a severe problem. You're extremely careful. You use a walker. You do not take unnecessary risks. But at level 4, your furniture creates a deadly, false sense of security. You do not use a cane, and you think your balance is totally fine because you navigate your house easily. But the moment you step outside, or the moment you misjudge the distance to a chair in your living room, you have absolutely no backup system. Your legs are incredibly weak, but your confidence is falsely high. This is the exact psychological combination that leads to the most unexpected and devastating falls in seniors. You are walking on a tightrope without a safety net, and you do not even realize you are up there. The amazing news is that no matter which stage you are at right now, balance can be retrained. Your brain and your muscles can be forced to reconnect. If you discovered that you are at level 4 or worse today, you cannot afford to wait and see what happens. You need to take action today. Click the video on your screen right now. I am going to show you exactly how to move from level 4 back up to level 3 using a simple, highly safe chair routine that rebuilds your stabilizing muscles in just a few minutes a day. Do not let your balance decline for another day. Click the video on your screen and let us rebuild your foundation together.